Hi guys, welcome back to the vlog. Today we're doing a get ready with me, get to know me, because obviously I'm very new to YouTube. So I thought it would be fun to do a get to know me today. And I want to try out some new makeup that I just got in, so you'll be getting my first impressions of some of those. My name is Tiffany Palmer, carry me on hot. Recently got married, so I did want to keep my last name, love my maiden name, and I didn't want to fully let go of it, so I actually moved it into my middle name. I am 29 years old. I just turned 29 in December. I have a December 30th birthday, so I am a Capricorn. And I think if you know anything about astrology and Capricorns and earth signs, I very much resonate with all of it. I feel like I am a Capricorn to a T. Out my mirror, look at this. I can't see myself in the mirror over there. I was like, I'm gonna whip this out, and this is my first time using this, but this would be so nice for travel. I recently got it from, I think, Kiehl's. As I was saying, I feel like I am exactly what astrology says I am, and I really do like being a Capricorn. I make it my whole personality trait, so you will probably hear me say that a lot, but I do think it explains a lot about just my personality type and who I am and how I am. I'm originally from the Bay, so I'm from Los Gatos originally. My parents still live there and I love it. I honestly wish we lived closer. I feel like that's the only bad thing about where we live now, is that it's over an hour to get home, so it is kind of less than ideal, but I still love it. I do go down to see them every so often, and I feel very grateful to be from California, but the Bay in general, I love it here. I'm gonna try this new skin tint from Versed, a multi-serum skin tint SPF 40. I love a skin tint. I really haven't been gravitating towards foundation as much, especially during the week. I don't go all out on my makeup, so I do love having a skin tint. So let's see how she is. But I went to college in the Bay as well, so I went to Santa Clara University, and I didn't intentionally pick a place close to home. That wasn't my goal when I was applying to colleges. I didn't want to go to many places out of state though, frankly. I did mostly apply to California schools, and I did really like the small school appeal. I don't know, I feel like I get really overwhelmed in big environments like that. Part of me thinks it would have been fun to go to a school with football and all of that, but I really did like having smaller classes and just having a smaller community in general. I was in a sorority, so I was a DG, Delta Gamma, and that definitely made my college experience. I never thought about that much growing up, that I would be in a sorority. It was never oh, I gotta do this, I have to do this, it's gonna make or break my college experience. And I was like, okay, what the heck, I have nothing to lose. It was great. I loved having a community within that community, and it definitely allowed me to be more social with events and formals, and just doing community service too. I don't know if that was something that I would have gotten into myself or known how to do, so I did really like that aspect of it as well. So far, the skin tint seems to be a pretty good shade match. I'm feeling it looks pretty good, and it does feel pretty light on the skin. I do feel like this is a solid option. What shade? 4W. But in college, I actually started as a pre-med major. So I was doing biology and I hated it. I was not good at it at all. The classes, I felt were designed to have you fail. And I don't think this is probably specific to Santa Clara. I get the sense that this was common across colleges among the people that I know who did also try to do pre-med. It's just a known thing that people are going to drop out of that major and change majors, and I feel like they intentionally try to knock you out. I don't feel like they're praying for your success. I don't know, that just wasn't the vibe that I got at all. And after I think a couple quarters maybe, I decided I was going to change major. I didn't know what I was going to do when I set out to switch, but I just knew I didn't want to do that. And like the more I thought about it, I just didn't want to do 8 years of school. Like that was not something I wanted to do. And not only that, it's like Santa Clara obviously wasn't cheap. It was a private college, which like, again, we did not plan for that, I don't think, financially. So it made me realize, like, do I want to spend more money on more school? I probably would have had to fund that myself. I don't think my parents would have been able to do that. So there was that. And then I do think like there were other ways to, I don't know, be successful. I think part of why I chose pre-med was because my mom always wanted me to be a doctor or like a pharmacist. It was always her dream for me to be a doctor or something of the sort. I've mentioned this briefly on TikTok. I won't get into it here, but like I have a tiger mom. She's Vietnamese, so I'm half Vietnamese. And if you know, growing up in an Asian household, you got a few options. You can do doctor, engineer, lawyer, like that's kind of it. So there was a lot of pressure to do it for that reason. And I don't know that I ever would have told you when I was growing up that I wanted to be in that field. I didn't. It was never something that I wanted for myself. And so I think I really realized that when I did go to college. I realized when I switched majors, like I have to lean into whatever I'm good at. And I was good at math. I actually did enjoy math. Like I would make my dad do math with me on the whiteboard when he got home from work when I was young. Like I loved doing long division, and I would just do that and do like little math workbooks for fun. And it always made a lot of sense to me. So I didn't want to be a math major. Decided to do computer science because I knew it would set me up for success if I wanted to stay in the Bay and work in tech. And it's honestly a lot of math. And the classes that aren't math are very logical. I'm a very like logical person. I think very black and white. I'm not very like much of an emotional thinker. So the classes, the coding, like it all just, it made a lot of sense to me. So I switched, and I would say the first couple of quarters were definitely tough. I think the second quarter was the hardest. But once I got over that, it was not bad. I definitely had some struggles with just like, I don't know, people not being so nice to me in that major. I hope and I pray that it's better now, but I have had girls reach out to me who are going through computer science and asking me if it's normal that like they don't feel welcome in like group settings and group projects, or that they are made to feel like they're less than because they're a woman in the field. And that just, it frustrates me because that is definitely something that I experienced. There were times when I would come into the class, it'd be the first day of the quarter, and boys would ask me if I was in the wrong room. Like, stuff like that happened, and unfortunately it sounds like it's still happening. I do think like now there's more women getting into the field, but then even when you do have women in your classes, like you would think that you would band together and, you know, be nice to each other, but that wasn't always the case. I felt like the girls that were in my classes, sure, I had some that I got along with, but like for some it's almost like very competitive too. Like there's a competitive nature, like we're the only girls here, like I want to be better than you kind of thing. Like it was a weird environment even with other women. It was tough, but it was fine. And people definitely started talking to me and asking me to be in their group when I was getting A's. So, you know, as it goes. But I graduated, I kind of just stumbled into solution engineering. So that is the role that I'm still doing today. I started at this company and it's really interesting. So I couldn't tell you like how I found this job. I was just applying to everything on LinkedIn, and I started at this company that did like marketing tech, and it was like a subsidiary of a different company. I was there for about a year. I wasn't loving it just because it was my first job out of college. The office actually wasn't here. There was like a little WeWork for like the 5 of us that worked at the company, and no one worked in my subsidiary of the company. So I was very isolated. Like, I loved my manager. I think that was the one saving grace, but I just wasn't like loving it. And DocuSign actually recruited me a year into that job. So that was just crazy. Messaged me on LinkedIn. I went through the interview process like pretty quickly, and oh, that is like pigmented. Oh my lantas. Okay, so this is a new blush. This is also the first blush they sent me. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. This is so, oh god. It's so red. It's dark. I'm going with the Beauty Blender. So anyway, I was at DocuSign for about 3 years, I think. I don't know, there were like parts of me where I felt like I was a little complacent in that role. It had become really easy for me, and I wasn't feeling as challenged. Decided to leave, which, you know, today I still look back and I'm like, was that the right decision? Because I do think the grass is always greener. I was also reached out to by another company in the same space. So it was a smaller player in the contract lifecycle management software space, and they were actually poaching a lot of DocuSign people. So I knew people there, and I was like, okay, I can get paid more, I can be challenged, like this is going to be a good thing for me. I left, and then I went over to that company, which ended up being the worst decision probably of my professional career. I did feel like I was a little bit misled in the interview process, and I definitely had some like rose-colored glasses on, and I just didn't really see the red flags for what they were. I joined the company. I basically, you know, me being me and me being a Capricorn, I'm always going to perform, and I'm always going to want to be a high performer. And sometimes that comes back to get you, because people take advantage of that. They do. And I was still the youngest on the team. I feel like in all my jobs, I've been the youngest one on the team, and I feel like they take advantage of that. Like, they think you've got more willpower to work harder, that you've got more time to work harder, you don't have kids, you're not married yet, or whatever. And I ended up working like 10 to 12 hour days, and I felt like my manager had no boundaries, and I'm not going to be working into the way hours of the night just to appease you. I'm fine with getting an assignment and doing the job that was asked of me, but when the scope like continues to change and change and change, and you're just making my life harder, I like reached my breaking point. I was the most miserable I had ever been. It was affecting my personal life. It was like right before we were getting married, me and my husband. I was like, I don't want to be in this headspace anymore. And I quit. I quit before I even had another job, because I knew I just like couldn't stay there anymore. And if it came down to it, I had saved up enough to support myself to take a little bit of a break. But funny enough, I was already like talking to my current company. So after I quit, it was probably a week or two after I quit, I got the offer from my current company. So I did have a little bit of time off, but now I'm at a company that I love, and I'm back in marketing tech, which was the same as my first job out of college. So that was a funny like little first full circle moment, and I'm loving it. And I work with like women. All my sales reps are women, and my manager's a woman. They're all amazing, and I just feel really well supported at this company. I could sit here and like perfect the blush forever, but I think we're gonna have to just leave it. Overall, I'm liking it. Didn't realize how pigmented it was, so that took a little bit of learning, but I think it's cute. As I mentioned, I got married pretty recently, so we'll back up. We'll give you the full story of me and my husband, Kaveh. So I met Kaveh, let's see, I graduated in 2018, moved to the city, met him towards the end of 2018 into 2019. So we just kind of ran in the same like social circles. I would always see him at events in the city. So whether it was like SantaCon or the Guardsman party or New Year's, like, and literally just out at bars, because the bar scene is so small. I would always see him and like there was clearly a vibe there, you know, and he thought I was kind of seeing one of his friends at the time. That's another story for another time, but he didn't want to like step on any toes. He's such a sweet guy. Blah, blah, blah. We run into each other at all these events and we never like fully like go for it. And then it was New Year's Eve. We ran into each other at this event, this party, and he literally comes up to me and I don't know what changed, but he's like, I need you in my life. Like that was the line. Kind of crazy, kind of aggressive, but it worked. I was like, I need a man who knows what he wants. So that was that. Ever since then, we were inseparable. We spent like every day of January together. He planned a whole thing for Valentine's Day. I was just talking to my friend about this. Like if you're kind of just starting to see a guy, or you're seeing someone and it's not official, but it happens over Valentine's Day, like that is a make or break moment. Like depending on how he treats that day, like is he gonna like not acknowledge it at all, or is he gonna like plan a date, pick you up, plan an event after dinner, like an activity, like do the whole thing? And Kaveh did the whole thing. February 23rd, he asked me to be his girlfriend. So it was like after 2 months of seeing each other, we were moving very fast. I would say we moved fast and slow at the same time. Like at the beginning it was very fast. Like I went to a music festival with him. I went to Cross with him very soon after knowing him. We moved in together like very quickly. I think it was like 3 or 4 months after seeing each other. And that was mostly because like I was dying to get out of my place and he was also moving at the time. So it just kind of worked out. And I actually moved in with him and 2 of his friends, which I don't know if I would recommend for people, but we did it right before COVID. So we didn't know it was going to be COVID. And then that happened. And I was like, you're joking me. So none of us were prepared to like actually be in that close of quarters for all day, every day. So we did that for a year. And then once that lease was up, we got our own place. So me and Kaveh, we actually bought a 1-bed, 1-bath in the marina in San Francisco. And we loved that apartment. It was definitely tiny and small for the both of us, and both of us working from home, but we loved it. And it was our first place together, so it meant a lot to us. Kaveh's dad was the one who was like, you guys need to stop throwing your money away to rent. You can afford it, like just buy a place. But yeah, we learned a lot owning that place. I would say there's a lot that comes with like home ownership that you just don't know until you're in it. So that was a fun journey. And we got a dog. We have Gigi. She's our mini long-haired dachshund. She's laying on the bed over there. Like I didn't know I could love something as much as I love her. She was a COVID puppy. I don't know if it would have been any different, honestly, if she wasn't, because dachshunds are already like anxious and they have separation anxiety. So I think she would be the way she is regardless of whether she was a COVID puppy. So she's 4 now. She just turned 4 in January, which is crazy. He proposed to me in 2022. So that was 3 years after we had been dating. He did it while we were in Greece. It was like our first Europe trip together too, so that was really nice. But we were in Santorini. He obviously planned this whole dinner. We were staying at this really nice hotel and he had gotten the whole like terrace booked, and we had a private dinner on this terrace. It was like a 10-course meal, insane, delicious food, and like, you know, the Santorini sunsets are like the thing. And so the sunset's right there at the hotel. So it was really a perfect setup. It was beautiful and definitely one of the best days of my life still. Like he crushed it, and he knew I didn't want anything like too elaborate. Like I don't like signage and like things like that. I didn't want a big like marry me sign. It was just like perfect. We knew we wanted to have a longer engagement, or no rush to have kids. We're still probably a couple years away from that. So we were engaged for 1.5 years. No, wait, 2 years. 2 years. Okay, yeah. Because we got engaged in May and then we had our wedding in May of 2024. So we just got married this last spring. We bought this house. We're in Mill Valley now. I don't think I've mentioned that. But we bought this house and we moved in the week before our civil wedding, like the week of. Like, we moved in April 8th, I think, and we got married here in the States on April 12th. And, you know, I originally thought I was gonna do like a courthouse thing, but we wanted to actually do like a full, like, intimate ceremony for our families, because our bigger wedding in Italy the next month was just friends. So, friends and siblings. So we did have a full, like, cute ceremony at MacArthur Place in Sonoma. I still love that day so much. I feel like that was really special, and it was everything I wanted it to be. It was beautiful. Flowers were beautiful. Like, my planner did so good. Like, it is just the perfect day. And I had a content creator there, so I felt like I got a lot of good memories from that, between that and my photographer. But doing that the same week as getting a house is crazy. So I don't know if I would recommend it, but at the same time, it was really nice to come back after that wedding and like be in a full new chapter in a new space and a new house. So that was crazy. And then a month later in May, we got married in Lake Como, and it was still kind of an intimate wedding. It was just under 40 people. We were out there for 2 weeks or so. After the wedding, we actually, one of our friends, his family just got a villa in QC, which is right, it's like part of Tuscany basically. And a group of us, a small group of us, got to go and stay there right after the wedding, which was like the perfect just relaxation. It's a cute little town. You're not doing anything crazy. You're just relaxing. They have a pool. You're having their olive oil that they grow on the property. Like, it was truly so special and just the perfect thing after the wedding to like relax and not have to worry about too much. And then after that, we went over to Positano and we did Capri. And both of those were amazing. I mean, I love anywhere in Italy, I really do, but those beach towns, being able to do like some beach clubs, do the shopping, like, that's a trip I'll definitely be doing again. And we stayed in Capri, is how you say it, I guess, for a couple of days. Some people will do a day trip from Positano, but honestly, I loved staying there, and we loved the island. And it's really nice because a lot of people do the day trips at nighttime, it's actually very quiet. Like, it feels like you have the island to yourself because all the crowds are gone. If you can stay in Capri, I definitely recommend you do it. Now, obviously, like, social media, I also do that. This is actually something that started during COVID for me, and I actually started as like health and wellness, and I did that as kind of like a thing to hold me accountable during COVID, kind of documenting my workouts, recipes. Like, I was cooking so much. It was like really when I started to get into cooking. And then when COVID ended, it was like, okay, I was going out more. I wanted to share more of like my lifestyle type content, my outfits, because I'm going out again, like all of that. So I just kind of transitioned to doing like everything through my personal Instagram and sharing everything. I never set out like wanting to be an influencer or anything, or I didn't really realize how much money you could make through it, and it just kind of all happened quickly. It became like a bit of a side hustle for me and something that I really enjoyed. I haven't been creative in many ways in my life. Like, I'm not like a super artsy person, never had like too many hobbies until this, and now I would say like interior design is really a passion of mine and a hobby of mine. So I even have like a separate homepage that I post to sometimes. Yeah, it's really been a nice outlet for me, and I've met so many cool people through this platform, like TikTok and Instagram. Just a really nice community. I don't know, I feel like people will always be judgy. I think people are a little less judgy now. Like, I'm seeing just like more people get into it, and I think that's super cool. Shall we end with a lip? I feel like we have to end with a lippy. This has been my go-to liner lately. This is the Swede Beauty, which I also use their mascara. It's like the best. This is their Cindy lip liner. and it's the perfect like nudie, pinky nude. And the formula itself is beautiful. It's like so creamy. Let's see. It just feels so nice. I love just doing the YSL Candy Glaze on top. It's like the perfect just gloss that's like kind of pink. There's not too much tint to it, and it doesn't dry me out, which I really like. A lot of glosses and balms just dry me out, and we don't like that. If you made it this far, still trying to do weekly vlogs, so let me know what you guys want to see. I definitely have some things on the docket to do. Thank you guys for watching. Really excited to be here on YouTube with you guys and share more of my life. Bye.